Spirits, and we're from Roscoe, Illinois, and this is 170.
Come on.
Oh, do it with me. I'll rise, Bucks, in spite of the bone. I'll rise, Bucks. Whoops. Good morning, cheap pinatas and Henry Fondas. Today's Friday. We're going to pick up some friends to go to breakfast. Courtney, I have one question. What type of eggs were those?
I don't know.
Courtney, I really shouldn't make fun of you because I didn't know either. So you know when you have sunny side up eggs, but they flip them over? We didn't know that was over easy.
I call them sunny side down.
Which is totally valid. In fact, makes more sense. So, good on you. Hey squad, I have a very, very embarrassing, shameful confession to make. I am about to go to the chiropractor.
The devil's work!
How are you, my friend?
How are you?
Good to see you. Good to see you. We're just heading across the street to the doctor's office. Yeah, you're headed out to deliver?
Yes, yeah, I got to deliver.
All right, well, hopefully we'll see you soon.
Okay.
Thanks, Arroyo.
Thank you.
The Air and Water Show is happening in Chicago this weekend, so that's why you hear all those fighter jets overhead. And by the way, yes, we did just run into our pizza delivery guy on the street. So the reason I went to the chiropractor is because I was working this morning and I got up out of my seat. I took about 3 steps and I felt this like debilitating back spasm that literally made me have to grab onto the counter, otherwise I would have fallen over. And I was like, oh no, my back is messed up again. But it turns out it's just a spasm. I don't think I like re-injured it or anything like that. So I went to the chiropractor, I got a massage, all that stuff. And as sinful as it was, I feel much better. If you don't know what I'm talking about with these chiropractor sin jokes, you need to watch the last 7 vlogs. Now on to something much more important. Go!
Hi everybody, welcome to Storytime with Sweet Bear. I'm Sweet Bear.
And I'm...
My special guest. Today, it's question time with Storytime with Sweet Bear.
Is it really?
Yeah.
This is a question from Tess on YouTube's. How do you deal with expectations and disappointments, whether it be in your relationship with each other or in your own lives?
I tend to have really grand expectations of things. Like, for example, my birthday. My family always made a really big deal of my birthday, and it was my mom always did a really good job of making it feel like the whole day is about us and doing something really special. And so when we got married, I expected that. But John's family maybe didn't make quite as big of a deal as birthdays. So anyways, we have that a lot where I have really high expectations for things. And I've learned that I have to communicate them to the people around me. And John is good about it too. He'll be like, okay, what are your expectations for this? And I will try to articulate what I want.
Passion for Dreaming asks, do you have advice for long-distance relationships?
Yeah, so we were long distance for a while. I don't know if I've said this before, but one of my favorite things that we did is we watched a show together on Netflix. So we would basically FaceTime each other or call each other, and then we'd start the episode at the exact same time, and it was hard to line up.
1, 2, 3.
And then they were speaking at the exact same time, and then we'd hang up and text our way through it. And that was a really cool thing because it was something that I probably would have done anyways, watch a TV show, but it felt like we were hanging out and spending time together, and it was like purposefully every night. Not every night, but we would try to do it, you know, every night. Other than that, it's just like scheduling time together and making that a priority, even though, yeah, it might be annoying to sit there and FaceTime when all your friends are going to do something else. You have to put time into the relationship if you want it to work.
Can I say something that you might not like?
Yeah.
Or that might be unpopular? Obviously, for anyone who's done it, dating someone long distance is super hard. It's not easy. And so you always have to kind of ask yourself the question, like, is it worth it? Because to me, if you're in a relationship with someone long distance and you don't have a pretty good idea that that's the person that you may end up marrying, it's not worth it to go through all of the headaches and all of the fights and all of the stresses and all the anxiety
it's really hard.
of it.
It's not going to be easy, and it's not.
Would you agree, though?
Yeah.
I don't think it's worth it to even, like, put yourself through that. If it's not a person that you're like, I could marry this person.
Yeah, but I think most people are going to have to feel that for themselves.
Right. Not quite that. From Andrea. Where is your jacket from, Aaron?
Which one am I wearing?
The black bomber.
Oh, the Gap.
Here's a question from Megan. I have to know, do you guys like Star Wars?
I've never seen it.
She's never seen it. I'm like, cool. Does that make sense?
But I think I'd like it if I saw it.
Yeah, absolutely.
My family loves it. My dad loves it so much. Bum, bum, ba-da-da, bum, bum, ba-da-da, bum, bum, ba-da-da, bum.
Maddie wants to know, do you have any advice on dating in school? Well, that's a hard question for us to answer because we did it
while we were in school, but we never went to the same school.
We never went to the same school, so we didn't really have that tension, if you will. And that's kind of a general question.
Yeah, if you have more specific.
Like, what are the struggles that you need advice on? That honestly is what is so hard about answering questions about relationships, is because each relationship is different. Mm-hmm. There is very little advice that would actually supersede and be able to cover all relationships, because each and every couple has a different journey. Each and every couple struggles with different things and, you know, is good at different things. The only thing that I can even think of right now that's like, this is something that I think supersedes over all relationships is communication with one another. Because, like, what works for us in order to maybe get over something we're struggling with in our relationship might not work for someone else. Mm-hmm. While we need to, like, cling to each other and spend a lot of time together, other people may need to take time apart. Mm-hmm. You're not going to know that, though, unless you communicate. How do you handle a relationship knowing it is nearly impossible for the two of you to work out?
I'm a firm believer that if you're dating somebody and you're in a relationship with somebody and you're giving your heart to them, that needs to be a person that you see yourself with. That for my life, that's how I feel. I'm not the kind of person that dated a ton of people, and I know people that date people that are like, oh, this is definitely not my husband, but I'm dating him, you know, like, that's not what I did, and I don't know, I feel like it's just unwise to treat your heart like that, you know? If it truly is something that is never going to work out, then I think the wise thing to do is to maybe not engage in it. On the other hand of that, who's telling you it's never going to work out? Because there were times in our relationship where everyone was like, you're never going to be together. You know, you're never going to get married. You guys are never going to make it past a year even. We knew that that was different. So I think you just have to look at it closely, seek wise counsel of people that love you and really have your best interests at heart. And that might not always be the people that you think, you know,
Yeah.
But yeah, and then if you do decide, no, this is not going to work out, then I think it's something you, as hard as it is, have to walk away from.
Last question, the most serious, most deep question of the day comes from Kayla. What is one thing you put on a certain food you eat that may seem abnormal? I put peanut butter on my chicken. Now, I don't mean I like take a scoop of peanut butter and like spread it on the chicken and eat it like toast. I don't mean that.
Yum, toast.
I will use peanut butter as like a cooking sauce. Like I'll use chunky peanut butter, which is it's like Thai food. It's not a weird thing, but it sounds weird to say I put peanut butter on chicken.
Mine is when I have a peanut butter and jelly, I open it up and I put Doritos in there. I close it up.
Like nacho cheese?
Yeah, nacho
Would you
cheese.
put Cooler Ranch in there?
You could, but
Is it Cooler Ranch or
Cool Ranch.
Someone didn't eat many Doritos growing up.
I love Doritos. All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in for this episode of Question Time, Starter Time, Super. Hope you have a great day.
If you could have a date night with anyone in the world, who would it be?
You.
Air, why aren't we as happy as them when we go out for date night? Why don't we smile like them when we go out? We're going to see Pete's Dragon. I think I'm going to cry. So, Air? It was a rough one for both of us, but especially you. The dragon reminded us a lot of buckets.
Somebody's talking about it, but yeah.
But we're gonna go home and see him now. And that's the end of the night. Love you all. Keep being awesome.